Ladies, listen to me loud and clear. There is a fine line between being kind and being taken for granted. And too often we as women cross that line without even realizing it. We think being overly accommodating, saying yes when we want to say no, or putting others' needs before our own makes us likable. But let me tell you something, it doesn't make you respected. Being too friendly is not a compliment when it comes at the cost of your self-worth. If you constantly give, adjust and compromise while others take, demand and expect, then you're not being kind, you're being used. And that stops today. A woman who knows her worth does not overextend herself for people who wouldn't do the same for her. She does not shrink her voice to make others comfortable. She does not play small to fit into someone else's world. You were not born to be a people pleaser. You were born to be a force. If your kindness is not being met with respect, take a step back. If your time and energy are being drained by those who only call when they need something, set boundaries. If your presence is being treated like a convenience, make it a privilege. A powerful woman is not afraid to walk away from tables where she is not valued. She is not afraid to say no without guilt. She is not afraid to put herself first because she knows that the right people will respect her for it. So today, I want you to stop over-explaining, stop apologizing for having standards, stop saying yes out of fear of being disliked. Because the moment you stop being too friendly, you will see who truly values you. And that, my dear, is the kind of strength the world cannot ignore. Now go out there, stand tall, and own your space. Kindness is a beautiful thing. It is a reflection of grace, warmth, and strength. It has the power to heal, to inspire, to uplift. But kindness should never come at the cost of your respect. There is a dangerous misconception that being kind means tolerating everything, that being good-hearted means saying yes to everyone, that being generous means allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. That is not kindness. That is self-betrayal. Too often, women fall into the trap of believing that the more they give, the more they will be loved. That if they are accommodating, agreeable, and always available, people will appreciate them more. But here's the truth. When you give too much without demanding respect in return, you do not gain love, you lose yourself. You shrink your own power. You teach people that you will accept less than you deserve. And once people realize that you will tolerate disrespect, they will stop valuing you. A woman's kindness is often mistaken for weakness, and that is where the problem begins. Society has conditioned women to be nurturers, to be peacemakers, to always put others first. And while there is nothing wrong with being compassionate, there is something very wrong with allowing your kindness to be taken for granted. Every time you prioritize someone else's needs over your own without reciprocity, you send a message that your time, energy, and emotions are not as important as theirs. Every time you let someone cross your boundaries without consequence, you teach them that your limits do not matter. And every time you accept less than what you deserve, you reinforce the idea that you are willing to settle for less. Respect is not something you ask for, it is something you command. And to command respect, you have to stop over-giving to people who only know how to take. You have to stop making yourself small to make others feel big. You have to stop believing that being liked is more important than being respected. The most powerful women in this world are not the ones who bend over backward for everyone. They are the ones who know when to walk away. They are the ones who know when to say no. They are the ones who understand that kindness is a gift that should be given wisely, not wasted on those who do not appreciate it. There is a difference between being kind and being a people pleaser. Kindness comes from a place of strength. People pleasing comes from a place of fear. When you are kind, you choose to help others while still valuing yourself. When you are a people pleaser, you put others above yourself because you are afraid of being disliked, afraid of being seen as difficult, afraid of standing alone. And that fear will keep you stuck in places where you are not respected, in relationships where you are not valued, in friendships where you are only an option, never a priority. If someone only respects you when you agree with them, that is not respect. It is manipulation. If someone only values you when you are useful to them, that is not appreciation, it is convenience. And if someone only treats you well when they need something from you, that is not love, it is exploitation. A woman who knows her worth does not tolerate one-sided relationships. She does not tolerate inconsistency. She does not tolerate being treated like an afterthought. She understands that her kindness is not a weakness, but it is also not a free pass for others to walk all over her. Women have been taught to believe that strength and kindness cannot coexist. That if you are strong, you must be cold. That if you are kind, you must be passive. But that is a lie. The strongest women are the ones who can be kind without compromising their self-respect. They are the ones who can give without depleting themselves. They are the ones who can love without losing themselves. They are the ones who can care without allowing themselves to be used. Being a kind woman in today's world requires balance. It means knowing when to give and when to hold back. It means knowing when to offer a helping hand and when to walk away. It means understanding that your kindness should never be at the expense of your dignity, because the moment you allow people to take advantage of your good heart, you stop being kind, you start being a doormat, and the world does not respect doormats. The world respects women who stand firm in their worth. If you want to be respected, you have to set boundaries. You have to stop apologizing for having standards. You have to stop explaining yourself when you say no. You have to stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself. Because every time you let someone get away with disrespecting you, you give them permission to do it again. Every time you excuse bad behavior, you tell them it's okay to treat you that way. And every time you prioritize their feelings over your own, you teach them that your emotions do not matter. A kind woman is not a weak woman. She is a woman who knows her value and refuses to settle for anything less. She is a woman who can be warm, but also firm. She is a woman who can be generous, but also discerning. She is a woman who understands that her heart is precious and should not be given away to just anyone. She does not waste her time on people who drain her. She does not invest in relationships that do not nourish her. She does not chase after people who do not see her worth. There will be people who call you selfish for putting yourself first. Let them talk. There will be people who say you have changed because you no longer tolerate their nonsense. Let them talk. There will be people who try to guilt trip you into staying in situations that no longer serve you. Let them talk. Because the moment you start choosing yourself, the wrong people will fall away and the right people will step up. The people who truly value you will respect your boundaries. The people who genuinely care about you will never make you feel guilty for prioritizing your peace. The people who belong in your life will never take your kindness for granted. A woman who knows her worth is not afraid to walk alone. She is not afraid to lose people who do not appreciate her. She is not afraid to say no without explaining herself. She is not afraid to demand respect because she knows she deserves it. And most importantly, she is not afraid to stop being too friendly when her kindness is not being reciprocated. So, the next time someone makes you feel like you are asking for too much, remember this. You are not asking for too much. You are just asking the wrong people. The next time you feel guilty for saying no, remind yourself that your peace is worth protecting. And the next time you catch yourself overgiving to people who wouldn't do the same for you, take a step back and ask yourself, is this kindness or is this self-sacrifice? Because true kindness should never cost you your self-respect. And if it does, it's no longer kindness. It's time to walk away. Boundaries are not barriers. They are not walls you build to keep people out. They are the standards you set to protect your energy, your time, and your peace. But too often, women are made to feel guilty for setting boundaries. They are told they are being difficult, that they are being selfish, that they should always be available, always accommodating, always saying yes. And because of this pressure, so many women go through life exhausted, drained, and unfulfilled, not because they don't have enough to give, but because they keep giving to people who don't deserve it. They keep allowing others to cross lines that should have never been crossed. They keep sacrificing their own needs to keep everyone else comfortable. But setting boundaries is not a betrayal of others. It is an act of self-respect. When you set boundaries, you are not being mean. You're being clear about what you will and will not accept. You are not pushing people away. You are filtering out those who do not respect you. You are not being cold. You are protecting your warmth from those who do not appreciate it. A woman who sets boundaries understands that her time and energy are valuable. She does not give endlessly to people who only take. She does not allow her kindness to be exploited. She does not feel guilty for putting herself first because she knows that if she does not protect herself, no one else will. The reason so many women struggle with boundaries is because they have been conditioned to believe that their worth is tied to how much they can give to others. They are taught that being a good woman means always being available, always saying yes even when they want to say no. And this belief keeps them stuck in situations that drain them. It keeps them tolerating behaviors that they should never accept. It keeps them prioritizing people who do not prioritize them. But here is the truth. When you set boundaries, the right people will respect them and the wrong people will be offended. And that is a good thing, because the people who get angry when you set boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. They are the ones who were comfortable taking advantage of you. They are the ones who only valued you for what you could do for them, not for who you are. And those are not the people you need in your life. A woman who knows her worth does not explain herself when she says no. She does not feel the need to justify why she is unavailable. She does not apologize for prioritizing her mental and emotional well-being. She understands that every time she lets someone violate her boundaries without consequence, she is teaching them that it is okay to disrespect her. She understands that every time she allows someone to guilt trip her into doing something she does not want to do, she is handing over control of her life. She understands that if she does not set the standard for how she should be treated, no one else will. And here's the thing, when you set boundaries, people will test you. They will try to push your limits. They will act as if you are being unreasonable. They will call you names, try to make you feel bad, try to make you question yourself. But that is where your strength comes in. That is where you stand firm, because the moment you give in, and again, until there is nothing left of you. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about controlling what you allow in your life. You cannot change how people behave, but you can change what you accept. You can choose to walk away from situations that drain you. You can choose to distance yourself from people who do not respect you. You can choose to stop engaging in conversations that make you feel small. You can choose to stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. There will be moments when setting boundaries feels uncomfortable, when saying no feels unnatural, when you feel the urge to over-explain, to soften your stance, to make sure no one is upset with you. But that discomfort is necessary, because every time you enforce a boundary, you are rewriting the script. You are unlearning years of conditioning that told you that your needs should always come second. You are teaching yourself that your voice matters, that your feelings are valid, that you deserve to be treated with respect. A woman who sets boundaries does not allow guilt to dictate her decisions. She does not say yes out of fear of disappointing others. She does not stay in situations that make her unhappy just because she feels obligated. She understands that she is responsible for her own well-being. She understands that if someone truly values her, they will respect her limits. She understands that those who love her will never demand that she sacrifice her own happiness for their comfort. When you start setting boundaries, you will notice a shift. Some people will fall away. Some relationships will end. Some people will call you selfish, will say you've changed, will try to make you feel like you are doing something wrong, but do not let that shake you. Because the people who truly belong in your life will understand, they will adjust, they will respect you even more for standing up for yourself. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about letting the right people in, the ones who see your value, the ones who respect your space, the ones who appreciate your kindness, but do not exploit it. The ones who understand that you are not here to be everything for everyone. You are here to live a life that honors your own needs, your own dreams, your own peace. You do not owe anyone unlimited access to your time, your energy, or your emotions. You do not have to be available 24/7. You do not have to answer every call, reply to every message, say yes to every request. You do not have to put your own needs last just to make others happy, because the people who genuinely care about you will never expect you to deplete yourself for them. And here is the reality: people will treat you the way you allow them to. If you do not set boundaries, people will assume that they can take from you endlessly. If you do not make it clear what is acceptable and what is not, people will push as far as you let them. And if you do not enforce your boundaries when they are crossed, people will keep crossing them. So stand firm in your decisions. Do not let guilt make you second guess yourself. Do not let fear of rejection keep you in situations that do not serve you. Do not let other people's opinions dictate how you live your life. Your boundaries are yours to set, and you do not need anyone's approval to enforce them. A strong woman is not one who says yes to everything. A strong woman is one who has the courage to say no without guilt. A strong woman is one who does not allow herself to be manipulated by emotional pressure. A strong woman is one who understands that setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-love. And the moment you embrace that, the moment you stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first, you will realize that the people who truly respect you will never ask you to betray yourself for their benefit. You will realize that the only people who get upset about your boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. You will realize that by protecting your energy, you are not losing anything. You are gaining peace, clarity, and the kind of self-respect that no one can take away from you. Your presence is valuable. It is not something that should be taken for granted. It is not something that should be given freely to those who do not appreciate it. You are not an afterthought, not an option, not someone to be used when convenient and forgotten when not. And yet, too many women allow themselves to be treated as if their time, their energy, and their very existence are something to be accessed whenever it suits others. Too many women settle for being a convenience rather than a priority, and that stops the moment you realize your worth. When you make yourself too available to people who do not truly value you, you teach them that they do not need to prioritize you. You teach them that they can call you when they need something and ignore you when they don't. You teach them that they can make you wait, that they can treat you as an option, that they can expect you to always be there no matter how they behave. And once people realize that you will tolerate that, they will never change. They will never put in effort. They will never respect your time because you have not given them a reason to. A woman who knows her worth does not wait around for people to decide when she is important enough. She does not tolerate half-hearted effort, late-night texts, last-minute invitations, or relationships that only exist when it's convenient for the other person. She does not allow herself to be used as an emotional crutch, a backup plan, or an afterthought. She knows that her presence is a privilege, and she does not allow it to be treated as anything less. The moment you start carrying yourself like a woman who is not easily accessible, everything changes. The way people treat you changes. The way they perceive you changes. Because the truth is, people only value what they have to work for. They only respect what they cannot easily replace. And when you make yourself too easy to reach, too easy to please, too easy to take advantage of, you lose the very thing that makes you special, your sense of self-worth. There is nothing wrong with being kind, with being loving, with being supportive. But if that kindness is not appreciated, if that love is not reciprocated, if that support is not acknowledged, then what is the point? Why would you continue pouring into people who do not pour back into you? Why would you keep giving your energy to those who only take? A woman who respects herself understands that her presence is not free. It is not something to be handed out to those who do not deserve it. It is not something to be given away to those who only show up when they need something. When you stop making yourself so available, you start to see who truly values you. You start to notice who puts in effort, who checks in on you, who shows up, not just when they need something, but because they genuinely care. You start to attract people who respect your time, who make plans in advance, who do not treat you like a backup option. You start to understand that real relationships, whether friendships, romantic relationships, or business connections, are built on mutual respect, not convenience. And the truth is, the wrong people will be upset when you start valuing yourself. They will accuse you of changing. They will call you difficult, arrogant, or even selfish. But those are the people who benefited from you not knowing your worth. Those are the people who liked you better when you were always available, always accommodating, always willing to drop everything for them. They are not upset because they care about you. They are upset because they can no longer use you. There will be people who suddenly realize your worth when you start pulling away. They will try to come back, try to make promises, try to convince you that they've changed. But actions speak louder than words. And if someone only values you when they feel like they are losing you, then they never truly valued you to begin with. Because real appreciation is not reactive, it is consistent. A person who genuinely values you does not wait until you are gone to start treating you right. They do not wait until you set boundaries to start respecting you. They do not wait until you stop answering their calls to start making an effort. A woman who understands her worth is selective with who she allows into her life. She does not entertain people who do not respect her time. She does not beg for attention. She does not chase after those who do not make her a priority. She moves with confidence, knowing that the right people will always make an effort and the wrong people will naturally fade away. And she does not grieve the loss of people who only valued her when it was convenient for them, because she knows that her presence is not something that should ever be treated as a convenience. It is a privilege. Some people will not like the new version of you, the version that does not tolerate disrespect, that does not settle for inconsistency, that does not allow herself to be used. But that is not your problem, that is their problem. You are not here to make everyone comfortable. You are not here to be easy to manipulate. You are not here to be available at the expense of your own well-being. You are here to be valued, respected, and treated with the dignity you deserve. The most powerful thing you can do as a woman is to walk away from anything that does not serve you, to stop chasing people who do not reciprocate, to stop making excuses for those who only show up when they need something, to stop being so accessible to people who do not deserve you. Because the moment you start treating yourself like a priority, the world will have no choice but to do the same. And the right people, the ones who truly appreciate you, who truly respect you, who genuinely care about you, will never make you question your worth. They will never make you feel like an option. They will never treat you as if your presence is something they can take or leave. They will cherish it. They will honor it. They will recognize that having access to you is not something to be taken lightly, because they understand what the wrong people fail to see. You are not a convenience. You are a woman of value, and your presence is a privilege. Confidence is not about being liked. It is not about gaining approval, fitting in, or making sure everyone around you is comfortable with who you are. Confidence is about knowing yourself so deeply that you do not need validation from anyone. It is about standing firm in your beliefs, your choices, and your worth, no matter who agrees or disagrees. A confident woman does not shrink herself to make others comfortable. She does not live her life seeking approval, because she understands that approval is temporary, but self-respect is forever. Too many women waste their energy trying to be liked by everyone. They soften their voices, adjust their personalities, and compromise their boundaries just to be accepted. They say yes when they want to say no. They tolerate things that make them uncomfortable just to avoid upsetting others. They hide parts of themselves because they are afraid of judgment, but in the process of seeking approval, they lose themselves. They become versions of themselves that are designed to please others, not to honor their truth. And the sad reality is, no matter how much they give, no matter how much they try to please, there will always be people who disapprove, who criticize, who think they are too much or not enough. A woman who lives for approval will always be chasing something that is never truly in her control, because people's opinions are fleeting. One day they love you, the next day they don't. One moment they admire you, the next moment they judge you. If your self-worth is tied to what other people think, you will always be at their mercy. You will always feel the need to prove yourself, to adjust, to change, to gain their acceptance. But the moment you decide that your confidence is more important than their approval, everything shifts. You stop looking outside of yourself for validation. You stop waiting for permission to be who you are. You stop letting the fear of judgment control you. A confident woman does not need everyone to like her. She does not fear rejection because she understands that rejection is just redirection. She does not take criticism personally because she knows that other people's opinions are a reflection of them, not her. She does not water herself down to fit into spaces that were never meant for her. She knows that she is enough exactly as she is, and she refuses to apologize for that. Confidence is not arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than others. It is about knowing that you do not need to be better than anyone to be worthy. It is about embracing your strengths, your flaws, your uniqueness without needing external validation. It is about walking into a room and knowing that you belong there, not because someone else says so, but because you believe it yourself. It is about making decisions based on what feels right for you, not based on what will make others happy. A woman who values confidence over approval does not need to explain herself to everyone. She does not waste time defending her choices to people who do not understand them. She does not seek validation from those who do not see her worth. She simply lives her truth, and that is enough. She does not dim her light to make others comfortable. She does not hold back her voice to avoid criticism. She does not ask for permission to take up space. She takes up space unapologetically. When you prioritize confidence over approval, you start to attract the right people into your life. You attract those who respect you, who support you, who appreciate you for who you truly are. You stop tolerating relationships that require you to prove your worth. You stop chasing friendships that make you feel like you are not enough. You stop needing external validation because you have already validated yourself. And yes, some people will be uncomfortable with your confidence. Some people will criticize you, will try to bring you down, will call you difficult or arrogant, but that is not your problem. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. A strong woman does not adjust herself to fit into spaces that cannot handle her presence. She does not seek approval from those who do not appreciate her. She does not lower her standards just to be accepted. Confidence is a decision. It is a choice you make every single day to believe in yourself, to trust yourself, to stand by your values, even when others don't agree. It is choosing to walk your own path even when it means walking alone. It is choosing to be authentic even when it means facing criticism. It is choosing to love yourself even when the world tells you that you should be different. A woman who values confidence over approval is unstoppable. She does not seek permission to be powerful. She does not wait for someone to recognize her worth. She does not live her life based on what others expect. She simply is bold, fearless, unapologetic, and that is what makes her truly powerful.